So you're ready to start growing your business, hire more employees or hire your first employees, and start to delegate parts of the operation that will allow you to serve more clients and scale. The problem is you've never done this before, or you've done this and you haven't done it effectively, so you don't know where to find the best talent, how to attract the best talent into your business, especially if you're smaller, and how to hire, interview, and onboard the right talent. I'm going to give you the step-by-step breakdown on how you can hire the best talent that's going to allow you to grow. Listen carefully, because each step I mentioned is pivotal for this process to work. You're not going to want to miss one step. This is a multi-step process. In order to source, interview, and hire the best talent, we want to maximize our capacity to hire the right people. Building a sourcing and hiring funnel is nearly the same exact thing as building a funnel for your business and marketing and appointments. The most important thing, like any marketing funnel, we want the top of the funnel to be as big as possible. So the first step is get ready to post the job. What you need to do is align on the role that you're hiring for, the responsibilities they are going to be held accountable to, the KPIs and goals that they're going to aspire for and be managed towards. Outside of these things, you're going to need a clear job description, and you're going to need compensation. Compensation isn't necessary, but if you're looking to hire good talent, what I do for my roles that I hire for is include the compensation to filter out the people that don't meet that criteria and actually to attract in the right talent, because I try to pay top dollar for my talent. Once you have the job description, you want to post this job in as many places as possible. I'm talking about LinkedIn, Upwork, Indeed, Fiverr, and everything else in between to give yourself the biggest opportunity to have the most applicants. Now that you've posted your job everywhere, you're going to have hundreds of applicants. If you have additional income and dollars to put forward to source better talent, one tip you can do is start to do direct outreach on LinkedIn. If you are hiring for a specialized role such as account management, paid advertising specialist, a marketing strategist, you can start to target these people using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, build a list of them, and connect with 100 to 200 a week. When these people accept your connection request, what you could do is direct message them saying, "Hey, Name, I saw that you're sitting in this role. We're actually hiring for this same role. We're paying a $500 referral fee to anyone that introduces us to the right talent that ends up joining our team." One of three things is going to happen in this situation. Number one, they might raise their hand and say, "I am this person," and they might apply. Number two, if someone's an account manager or a project manager in an agency, they probably know other account managers and other project managers in other agencies. Or number three, they just might not be a fit and they might move on, and that's okay. Big Fortune 500, Fortune 5000 companies are great to recruit from because a lot of times these roles are underpaid. If you want to look up people and compensation salaries from companies that are bigger that you might want to poach from, you can look up those salaries on glassdoor.com. Now that you've posted your job, you've reached out to hundreds of people to source talent for this role, what you want to do is filter. You want to filter out 80 to 95% of the candidates because most people are not going to be that great. Most people are going to suck in this position and you don't want to deal with them. So the number one thing I like to give analogy towards is a water filter. If you have dirty water and you put it through an amazing water filter, it will come out clean. We need to do the same exact thing for your sourcing funnel. The best way to do this is by creating a test for competency. I like to do 2 tests of competency for really important roles. So the first test is going to be basic qualification. If you're sourcing someone from overseas or you're sourcing someone locally, you want to make sure they can do this job on a technical level. Give them a situation that's actually going to require that they test their skills. 80 to 95% of people automatically will not do the test, and everyone that applies will actually care. Those are the people you want to hire because those are not the spammers. Once you do this, you'll now have a smaller population of people you want to filter further. Now that you might have 1 to 10 to 20 to 30 potential candidates, you want to give them a second test. You want to pick your best 5 to 10 candidates and give them a paid test. Give them 1 to 2 hours of work in the role itself. So if you were doing paid media, if you're doing SEO, if you're doing content writing, you want to give them an actual assignment that will require them to show you their skills. Before you have an interview, you want want to technically qualify this candidate to make sure they can do the job. By the time you've gone into the interview, you know this person works hard and is willing to work hard because not only were they not spamming you, they did the test and they passed your test. At this point, you want to make sure you hire someone that aligns with your company values. This is so important, especially in a small business. You don't want to hire someone and 6 to 12 months later, you find out they're not a cultural fit. The problem is you might not know how to hire for a cultural fit. I'm going to tell you just how to do that. Keep listening. So what I do and what every business should do is create 5 to 10 core values that are absolutely non-negotiable. So some of our core values are ownership, delivering results, speed, being a kind person, and being willing to be flexible and prioritizing the customer first, customer obsession. Now, those are 5 examples. What you want to do and in your actual interview and before you get to the interview is come up with questions for each of those values. So if you have 5 to 10 values, you probably want to have 1 to 2 future-based questions. Most of you probably know of the STAR format and what STAR questions are. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Corporate America popularized this by asking candidates, tell me about a time when. This is horrible. The amount of times I was able to bullshit my way into a job because I was able to fluff up my experience or gently lie about my experience was significant in my college years. You don't want to put someone in a situation where they start to fluff up a story. Give them an actual future-based scenario that teases out your core values. So the first thing you need to do is sit down and write your values out. Non-negotiables that you must see in your company or you must see in this function. Then you need to create feature-based questions. And I'll give you an example of one. Let's say you have 2 values, customer obsession and delivering results. Imagine if it's a Friday afternoon and a client reaches out to us and says they are really unhappy with the work that you did on their account. What do? This one question is going to tease out ownership, delivering results, customer obsession. This will allow you to have a simple and templatized methodology to interview people. Once you have your questions, you should probably have at least 10 questions. You now need to create your grading rubric. It will be a point scale of 0, 1, or 2. Every question that's asked can be scored by one of those metrics. What you want to do if you ask 10 questions, you want to create a passing grade. What is the minimum score that someone has to get in order to get hired into your business? What I like to do if I'm asking 10 questions, my candidate must get at least an 18 out of 20. That means that they can't get any zeros and they might have gotten 2 ones. So with this, you ask 10 questions based on future-based question scenarios. You grade those questions on a scale of 0, 1, or 2. And then after you interview everyone, what you want to do is pool the grades and hire the best person. Now, while you're still interviewing your candidate, what you want to do at the end of the interview is align on compensation. What I like to say is, hey, this role gets paid this salary. Does this align with you? If we were to make you an offer, would this be okay with you? And would you be willing to accept an offer with this salary? I like to get really clear in the interview so there's no negotiation after the fact. I want to make an offer and know it's going to be accepted. That also gives us the opportunity to negotiate and understand this candidate's salary. If they're not aligned with it, you can simply ask, what salary works for you? Pretty easy. At this point, you now have asked the questions, you've aligned on compensation, you want to inform them next steps. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Candidate, here's next steps. We're going to review your answers and compare you with the other candidates. Within the next 2 to 3 business days, we will have an answer emailed to you or texted to you. We'll move forward or we might part ways. If we do part ways, let me ask you this. Are you open for part-time work in the future? Are you open to come back if you're not a fit for us today? What this allows you to do is if you have 5 candidates, you're only hiring 1, but you have 2 or 3 other really good candidates, it leaves the door open for you to still bring in talent that you might have otherwise missed. At this point, you want to reach out, give an offer. When it comes to important full-time roles, I always coordinate with my lawyer on the appropriate contract to write up for the position, and I make the offer and it's either accepted or not. At this point, I now have my candidate in front of me, I've made an offer, and I've now started the onboarding process. The final thing that you should be aware, they need to sign their offer that aligns with compensation and legal items. And the final point is you need to set up compensation for this employee. Now, I am not endorsing and I'm not a paid promoter of the software. I just love this software. Gusto is the software I use to pay my international contractors and my W-2 employees in the United States. I do not believe this is an international software. offer. That is the step-by-step process on how you can build an amazing grade A agency team and how to source, interview, and hire them. If you are looking to scale your business and get your freedom back, get your time back, and you need help, go to the description below and book a call with us. We will help you source, interview, and hire all the right candidates so your business can grow and you can confidently step out of the operation so you're no longer wasting your time in low leverage activities.